Hi, I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Sophie, and we are here to help guide you to the why behind your wellness why.
Come join us on our journey.
Welcome to Wellness Why with Chelsea and Sophie. Today, we're going to talk about the day in the life as a personal trainer and dietitian.
Woohoo!
We're going to talk about what it's like behind the scenes in our industry of not your typical 9-to-5 desk job. So, Chelsea, what does your typical morning look like?
Ooh, all my answers to everything is always it depends. And my day is just going to be another answer of it depends.
Oh, girl.
So, yes. So it really does depend. So I'm not even going to try to make it up that it is the same every single day. I'm not going to be like, I wake up at 5 a.m. and make my matcha tea latte. And yeah, that's actually not what happens at all. I usually wake up anywhere from as early as like the earliest I would ever get up is like 5 a.m., but that is pretty much non-existent anymore. When I lived in Chicago, that was all the time. Now it's like non-existent. Usually I would say on average, I wake up around like 7 a.m. I do have a dog, so obviously she takes priority. We feed her and take her outside. When I lived in Chicago, we would take her on a walk in the mornings. Now it's a blessing and a curse that we have a backyard that we just let her out. And that's the start of my morning.
What's her name?
Maple. Her name's Maple, like maple syrup. And yes, she is sitting right beside me and she's very spoiled. And I'm sure if you actually know me, it's like all I talk about. So I need to stop myself because this whole episode could probably be about her. But yeah, every morning is so different for me. Sometimes it is waking up and like right away I have client calls. Sometimes my client calls don't start until the afternoon, and so I have time to like get a workout in, cook breakfast, all of that type of stuff. So I try to usually on the weekends look at my schedule ahead of time. This helps with not really only like meal planning, but just I'm a very structured person. I thrive off of structure and I do very poorly if I don't have a structured routine. So I try to look at my week and we talked about this in a previous episode, but I try to plan out like when I need quick meals in the morning, when I have mornings that I can actually sit down and cook a breakfast. Same with exercise. If I don't plan out when I'm going to work out or put it in my calendar, it won't happen. So that's kind of an all over the place of how my mornings start out. How about you?
I typically wake up at 5 a.m. every day. To be super specific, it's like 5:03. I like to get every minute, and anyone that knows me well knows that. If you looked at my alarms, it's like 5:03, 5:07. Um, I usually start at 6 a.m. Sometimes I have to start a little bit earlier for clients, and I'm about that life. I usually get there 10 minutes early, and I'll have like 3 to 4 sessions, hopefully back to back in the morning. That's ideal. And then I like to work out at like 9:30 or 10. Most days, if I can, whether it being heavy lift day or like a run or tennis or just a walk. And then I'll usually go home and make food and do some work. And that's my morning.
So do you then pretty much do split shifts? So for those, because we talked about in the beginning, like a typical 9 to 5 job, a lot of people go to work at 9 and at 5, sometimes later. But as Sophie had mentioned, she starts her day super early and then goes home in the afternoon. Do you then tend to go back to work in the evenings, or what does that look like for you?
Oh yeah. I usually go back to work. It depends, like 3:30 till like 7:15 Monday through Thursday. Friday, I don't like to work really in the afternoon unless it's like 1 or 2 virtuals, because I also work Saturday mornings. So cut me some slack, folks. And in the summer, which is fine, but of course, I wish it was in the winter. I usually do have longer mornings because I have some high school kids back, which is fine. But then some days, like I don't go home, which can be tough because then I'm literally away from home from 5:30 in the morning till 7:40 at night when I drive home. And that's a long day.
That is a long day. That was one of my biggest struggles with working in the gym setting was, right off the bat, I remember it was like my first week and they had a meeting with me about my schedule. And it was like, well, most people do best and are most successful with split shifts. And I was just like, no. I can't. Cause I'm definitely someone that, like I said, I'm very structured and very routine, and stepping out of work to get work off my mind just like isn't possible. So I really envy people who can do that, because I am someone that like I like to start and I like to stop all in one time. I can't really block it off. And so a lot of people would be like, yeah, I'll just go home in the afternoon and like do chores and do laundry and cook and all this type of stuff. And I would want to go home and sleep or like work more because I couldn't like totally shut my brain off of work. So I really envy people that can do that, because it's still a struggle of mine. That now it's like, because I work from home, my office is at home. So creating those boundaries around like, okay, if I do have morning clients and evening clients, I still struggle with that. Like I technically should be taking a break in the afternoon, but it's hard. It's hard to get your mind off of work in the middle of the day.
Oh yeah, you're kind of always adjusting because every day is a little different. Someday I won't work past like 2 o'clock, you know?
Is that what you envision? Is that the direction you want to go?
I mean, maybe in like 5 years. But no, I mean, I love it. I do wish like some Thursday evenings I used to take off, which was nice, or only work from home. But with obviously COVID being farther away, cross your fingers that people come into the gym more and more.
Yeah. So if you can't tell already, Sophie and I clearly create our own schedules, which again is a blessing and a curse, I feel like,
A
because
curse.
yeah, it's nice because we can work around in terms of like vacations. We obviously don't have to request PTO or get approval. We're our own bosses, but separating that work-life balance, we've talked a lot about, Sophie and I have talked a lot about, and I think it's an area we are both still working on.
Yeah, can't request PTO because we don't get it. But yeah, Chelsea and I do talk a lot about that. Like, I try not to respond to clients past like 8 p.m. or on Saturdays, and not even Sunday mornings. Like, I need me time too. And I know in today's world, everyone's accessible literally at the push of a button. But yeah, I mean, it's always a work in process creating those boundaries. And we've gotten better. We've gotten better.
Yeah, we have. And it's hard when we love what we do. I think that's what's challenging is like we are both in an industry and we both love being female entrepreneurs and having our own business. And there's so many pros to it. So that's what I struggle with is like when a client reaches out to me, I love working with the clients and I'm really blessed with like having great clients. So it's like, I want to get back to them. If I see that message, if I see something, it's like, I want to get back to them because I care about them. And so it's hard to create that boundary. So yeah, I've been working on it too of like, I have the client portal that I use. I have that on my phone. I have my email on my phone. So I've been trying to set boundaries of changing the settings on weekends, or at least like in my quote unquote off hours. So it just doesn't even come through, because if it comes through, I'm going to want to respond. So it's, if you do reach out, we're not ignoring you. We're just trying to practice what we preach.
Yeah, literally, like if I'm with someone and a client texts me and it's like a weekend or whatever, I'm like, don't let me respond, but remind me tomorrow. I'm like, don't let me respond right now. And they're like, okay, put your phone away. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And I'm trying to do that in my personal life too, right? Like we're so attached, as you had mentioned, we're accessible all the time. So
Yep.
even Sophie and I have talked about like, I have, thanks to Sophie, like I have a timer on my phone for Instagram and social media because again, it's just that can just overtake your life. So yeah, it's always a work in progress for everybody. We can relate to everybody on the challenges with work-life boundaries. What are your top 3 things that you like to do or like as a part of your day? What's most enjoyable about your day? Top 3 things.
Okay. Number 1, working out. Number 2,
Classic
eating.
personal trainer answer.
Right. This is my meathead side coming out. Number 2, eating my perfect bar. And which I just ordered. Yeah, not yet. We're waiting. Wait, did you order some, Chelsea? Side note.
I did.
Yes.
Guys, I know this is going to be posted way past the point, but they're having a really good sale right now. And I already, when you text me, I text my cousin because they love perfect bars just as much as we do. And I was like, you have to get online and order it. Yeah.
And then third, besides going to bed at night, it is working with my clients. And when they come into the gym and they're like, oh, I'm so excited to see you. Or at the end of the workout, they're like, oh, I feel so much better. This is just what I needed. And I'm like, yeah. So those 3 things. How about you, Chelsea?
I feel like ours are very similar, revolved around like movement, clients, and food, all 3 of those things. So my top one, I have to say, I have been getting in a really good routine of taking a step back for lunch. So what I've been doing, because the weather has been getting better, is I have been taking my lunch outside and just eating it like on my porch or my back patio and just kind of sitting there and enjoying, even if it's like 10 minutes. So I love a good lunch. I would say that's one thing I always look forward to. And when I say a good lunch, it can be really simple. It doesn't have to be fancy, but even a sandwich or a wrap or something like that, just getting outside and enjoying it. 2, I would have to say movement. And I'm going to say movement and not necessarily a workout, because sometimes it is just going on a long walk or something simple like that. So that definitely always gets me in a better headspace. So movement and or a workout, kind of depending on the day. That's definitely my second favorite thing. And my third favorite thing from a work standpoint is kind of like you said, my clients. I, again, just am so thankful for the clients I get to work with. I work with really amazing people and they challenge me and strengthen me. And yeah, they're just amazing. And in my personal life, of course, like I said in the beginning, my favorite thing in the whole wide world is my dog. So I have to say she's an enjoyment of the day too, because she is just fun. Dog moms out there understand.
Of course. Love it.
Before we wrap up, what's your least favorite thing of the day?
That is a very tough question. You know what? My least favorite part of the day is when I break my boundaries and I don't listen to myself and I don't wind down from work properly, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. But like when I'm like, okay, I'll do one more thing and then I'm done. And then it's like 5 things later and I'm like, no, Sophie, you said you'd be done after the first thing.
Yeah. Is that something you're trying to work on then? Because that was another thing we were going to mention is like, what are we working on? Which we kind of answered, but that kind of goes along with work-life boundaries.
That and eating more vegetables to be like Chelsea.
Eat your veggies.
Greens for the win.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I think I can relate to that too. My least favorite part of the day, it's also my favorite part, but it's my least favorite part at the same time is night, because I said this in one of the previous podcasts, like don't get me wrong, I love sleep, I love laying down, but I struggle so much to calm down at night. I'm definitely one of those people around like 6 p.m. I could go to sleep. And then at like 9, 10 p.m. when I should be going to sleep, my brain is like, and thinking about this and thinking about this, and let's run a marathon and let's do this and all that type of stuff. So I love night, but I hate night at the same time. So that is something I am working on are my sleep habits. I just started a really good book and trying to get my phone off, all that good stuff. Yeah.
What's the book?
It Ends with Us. It's really popular right now, so I feel like a lot of people have probably heard of it. It's really good. I am one of those people who I love reading, but I buy a book and it takes me like months to read it because again, I just get distracted with other things. And I'm also a person, I had this conversation recently with someone. I'm also a person who is a fiction book person. Like I envy the people who can like read nutrition books and learn and educate themselves. And again, I love to learn, but have to separate that from work sometimes. So I am fiction through and through. And this book I just got less than a week ago and I'm almost done with it. It's so good. So really
Ooh,
recommend. Yeah, it's really good.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, so we wanted to keep this one short and sweet and just give a little insight as to what we do behind the scenes. So, let us know if you have any questions.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.